Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I am your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. We are discussing Kevin Samuels' interview with a modern woman, I think she's 30, um, who's seeking to marry a high value man. I haven't seen this one before, so let's jump right into it and see how it goes.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm well. But the question is, how are you? Why are women so angry today?
This is something I've been thinking about since I've been listening to your channel. And I think so many women are angry because um, they've essentially turned themselves into the men that they want. And they can't find or have a hard time finding men similar to them. Since a lot of the time they say they want a man at their level, um, but for whatever reason they just cannot find or keep them.
Okay, women have turned themselves into the men that they want.
hmm As far
Uh,
as the education,
there you
and
go. Now we got to be clear on that because women today also want men who are attractive, fit, and in shape.
right,
I mean, Lizzo says she wants in shape man, so I can't agree that women have turned themselves into the men that they want.
right.
So, uh, what about your girlfriends, your homegirls?
So
Are they in the
honestly,
same boat?
I don't have a lot of girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
The few that I have are from school. Um, they are, a lot of them are single. A few of them are married.
Well,
Um,
just so we know, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 30.
All right. So, 30 years old. Did you go to college?
I did, yes.
And are you married? Single? What?
I'm currently single, in a relationship, but not married.
Okay. Do you want to be married?
I do.
How long you been in your relationship?
It was 1 year, October 5th.
1 year, October 5th.
hmm
And is he older than you, younger than you? What?
He's 20 years older.
Okay. Does he want to marry you?
Um,
So that's an awful long pause.
yeah, I don't know. We talked about it about 3 months into our relationship, as far as what we wanted, what we or how we saw ourselves in 5 years. We talked about how we wanted to be married and have kids, not necessarily to each other because we were still getting to know each other, but essentially at that time he said he wasn't at the financial
So in other
level
words,
to
no, he
be
doesn't want to marry you. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but let's just get right on to it. You're 30 years old. You're not a girl.
right.
Been a relationship with a guy for a year, and I ask you, for a year, does he want to marry you? And you just basically you recited War and Peace. See, that's another reason why women are so angry today because you just can't be honest. Why not just say no? He doesn't want to marry me.
Well, I don't know what he's planning.
Really, ma'am? See, this hard veneer that you black women carry, no one can see you. It's just me and you talking. But you don't know what he's planning. Has he taken you ring shopping?
No.
So let's take it away from you and him. How does a man who wants to marry a woman act? What does he do? What are some of the things he does?
Um, he makes sure his finances are in order.
No, I'm
He
not talking about what he do with the woman. See, first thing, when a man wants to marry you, he wants to get to know your family. He wants to take you around his family. He starts
Right.
introducing you to his life. He doesn't speak vaguely. He's very specific. He actually tries to find out what kind of stone you would like with an engagement ring. So let's cut it out, lady. He's done none of these things.
Right.
So it's going to hurt, but does that make you happy?
No,
All right.
it doesn't.
How do you feel about this then?
Well, the uncertainty of it, it's scary to think about.
So when I asked you a simple question, does he want to marry you? Why not just be honest?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why you don't want to be honest, because so many Black women are emotionally constipated. I sat here and looked at your expression, and it was just basically blank. Why is this important, audience? Because this is another reason why so many women are mad, angry, because they don't have a full emotional range. Black women in particular. Black women have anger, which is attitude, sass, the Jezebel, the sapphire. They have that. And that's it. One speed. There's not an entire range of human emotion. And see, when I was in therapy myself, I was emotionally cut off and constipated. I could tell you what I thought. I could tell you what I should be, but I could not really explain myself or emote. And I had to learn how over again. And so many of you women have gotten to the point to where you don't feel anything. You're emotionally numb. So where we ask a question and it's like, well, I'm not going to access my feelings because that's too raw. So I'm going to just give you a general vague answer, but there's still a person under there.
Right.
And if you ladies don't start becoming more honest and wearing your heart on your sleeve like women are allowed to, because honestly, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he's a good, solid dude.
Mm-hmm.
But the way you're talking right now, why does he need to marry you? You seem like everything's just okay. Whatever, I'm good. I'll take it. Men fix problems. Have you told him there's a problem?
I haven't.
Right. Ladies, you can't expect us to be mind readers. So honestly, you're in the position right now that you've created, man. So while you may not be overtly angry, this kind of stuff becomes passive aggressive. And this low grade hostility, if this relationship were to end, who in the audience thinks that she would not take this out on the next guy? All because you won't get honest. You said early on you guys talked about wanting to be married. Not specifically to one another, but just in general. You shouldn't have let it go past 90 days. Say something.
I don't know. I'm just taking it all in, what you're saying.
I know you're taking it all in, but you're not saying anything. You're acting like a man. That's how men are supposed to act. Just a strong silent. I'm just.
I don't I don't know what else to say, but I mean, everything you said is true, and there are things that I have to work on.
You can't do it by yourself. How can you
I
work on it?
can't.
I know. That's why I keep trying to get you to understand, man. You sitting there like you're strong or some shit. Why are you ladies so afraid to be vulnerable? And this is why you got. And why am I doing this for people in the audience, for the women in the audience? Because what is strength does not get protected. So many Black women complain about being unprotected, but you walk around like emotional midgets, refusing to be soft, refusing to be girly, refusing to be vulnerable, strong, independent. I don't need no man. I'm unbothered. I don't need nothing. And then when men say, oh, okay, good. She's all right. When you're really saying, I'm scared, I'm terrified, I'm vulnerable, I don't know how to say this. Help me, save me from myself. I don't like this. I want something else. That's what's screaming on the inside. But and that's your responsibility to fix, ladies. Not by watching YouTube videos, by getting in therapy and doing the work. Because you cannot change how you were raised, but you cannot go through life like this as grown women and emotional children. You can't get mad at this man for not moving forward because she has not required it. She's not made it a response. She hasn't even said what she wants, needs, or desires. She's just happy to be there. For as far as he's concerned, he's doing the right thing. I don't know what city or state you're in, but I would say you need to get into some counseling. I'm assuming mom and dad didn't raise you.
They both raised me.
Okay. What does your dad say about this guy?
He hasn't met him yet, but
and this guy's how much older than you?
I'm sorry?
This guy's how much older than you?
20.
You're dating a 50-year-old man and your father hasn't met him?
No, not yet.
Does he know about him?
Yes.
Does he want to meet him?
Yes.
Why hasn't he met him?
Just because of COVID, traveling
Zoom
there.
Exists?
That is true.
What are you talking about? He hasn't met him because your man don't want to meet him. Your man don't want to meet your father. Let's just get honest, man. He doesn't want to meet your father. I said one of the first things a man does is want to meet your people. He doesn't sound like he wants to marry you, man. And you need to start getting real with that. You need to have that conversation. Because you just sitting there hoping he's going to change ain't going to do anything. And if you leave this situation emotionally constipated and angry, do not take this out on another unsuspecting man. That's my ultimate point. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shout out to my man on Groove Theory for doing this video of the late, great Kevin Samuels. This was an interview that he did with a 30-year-old young lady who is dating a man who's 20 years older than her. She's 30, so the guy's 50. And apparently she's wants to be married, has been dating the guy for over a year, but this guy does not seem to be intentional about marrying her. She's frustrated by it, but she's not vocalizing her concerns. She's not being intentional with letting him know what her goal is out of the relationship. And so the guy within that year time frame has not made any effort to really connect with her in terms of learning more about her family, introducing her to his family, to kind of indicate what his ultimate goals are in the relationship. Kevin, being an older man, 58 years old, I think he's somewhere in his late 50s, identified what the problem was and said, look, as a man who's older myself, I understand the difference between a man who's intentional and a man who is really has no intentions for you on anything serious. And what he's pointing out to this young lady is that this man, if he was intentional, here's the characteristics that you would expect to see from him. One, he would inquire about your family and want to meet your family. That is true. Two, he would take some initiative to introduce you to his family, because typically people want to figure out how you would blend in their life. And if you are a family-oriented person, naturally, assessing your family and your loved ones is something that someone who is serious about you would do. And vice versa. They would want to see, how do you blend into their family? How do you fit into their world? So the fact that this guy has not done that to Kevin, an older man, he sees that as a red flag, especially because this is a person who would probably be one of Kevin's peers. This young lady seems a bit timid, wasn't really as transparent, mainly because I think she sees the writing on the wall, but she's still tolerating the relationship, even though she may sense that it's not really going anywhere. And rather than taking accountability and addressing the problem, the big elephant in the room, she stayed quiet as a way to avoid the uncomfortable position. I understand it. I mean, I've, been there before, where sometimes you're ashamed of what your situation looks like. And so as you talk about it, transparently to someone, them pointing out the situation as it looks in a very raw and direct manner doesn't necessarily make you feel good, because the little voice you've been trying to suppress, telling you this isn't going anywhere, is now blatantly in your face telling you he's right. This guy does not seem to be serious. Now, for this young lady, it doesn't seem, from what I've heard, that she's had a lot of experience. And I don't know what her relationship is like with her father, where you would expect for him to say something about it. I just know, me as a father of my daughters, if they came to me with somebody that they were dating that's 20 years older than them, I would have some questions in terms of what this guy wants with them and what they see in him. And naturally, you would think that this young lady would have gone to her father to talk to him about it, to see, where he stands, and just to see how the father feels about this person. That would have been an early check. So I think there's value when you meet somebody, ladies. You kind of want that person to be assessed by your family, the people who have invested a lot of time in you, have a vested interest in seeing your life go well. You want them to give you their point of view about the person that you're presenting to them, because those people know you. They know your personality, and they can observe certain things about how that guy interacts with you and give you a very unbiased feedback based on what they know about you as to whether or not they think it'll work. Sometimes it's valid, other times it isn't. But generally speaking, more often than none, that feedback can be useful in terms of what you're seeing, what you're feeling. There are these little indicators that tells you whether or not someone is serious and what it is that their intentions are. Typically, when a guy is serious, he wants to make his intentions known to your family, that I think the world of your daughter, and I want to partake with her in my life. I want her to partake in my life. I want to blend our families. I want to, connect my world with hers. And the fact that this guy hadn't done that was an early indicator to Kevin that he wasn't really serious about her. Now, had this been a young man who might not know any better, then maybe you can excuse it. But for a 50-year-old man, if he's dating you, he should know whether or not he wants to be serious or not, or if he's just having fun. And so it seemed like this young lady didn't really have a lot of dating experience to be able to distinguish that. And so she was very polite, and she spoke, you know, in a very soft spoken way. But at the same time, I think Kevin was giving her the reality of the situation to say, look, you know, within 9 months, within 3 months, which is about 90 days, you should be able to have a good gauge as to what somebody's intentions are. You're spending time with people, you know, conversations are going to come up, at which point you have to be able to vocalize what you want from the relationship and, hear what that person wants from the relationship and to figure out how you guys can make that situation work. This is why communication is so important. This young lady said that she didn't think that I guess that it needed to be discussed, the fact that she was a little frustrated about the problem. Kevin pointed out that men are problem solvers. They want to know what problem can they help you solve in your life. And if the problem you're having is with that man committing to you, you should certainly vocalize it. At least to get an idea like, hey, I'm wanting to understand, what does our future look like together? What is your anticipated timeline to be a wife? Because this young lady may want to be a mother. She may want to have children, and that matters because geriatric pregnancy is a real thing. You're 30 years old, you're getting closer to that point where you may not be able to, have babies. So you got to have those conversations and then frame it that way. Like, hey, I want to be a mom. I want to be a wife. And I want to make sure that I'm being intentional. So if I'm spending my time and devoting myself to you, give me a sense of where we stand so I can understand what I need to do to make that happen. And unfortunately, it didn't seem like she got there to that point. Kevin, I think in this particular situation gave her sound advice. And I would certainly give a similar advice if I was asked. And so my point of view is that she definitely needs to have a conversation. She needed to have a conversation with this guy to figure out where the relationship is going. And so she's not in any way, shape, or form resenting the guy at some point later because maybe she might missed her window or her time or opportunity to be with that. And that's another thing we see too. A lot of women will give a man 8, 9, 10 years of their life, 12, 13, 14 years, have children with the guy. He never marries them. And then eventually they leave that relationship. And now they're back on the dating scene trying to figure out, who's willing to take them on and make them a wife. But now they're coming in with, all this baggage, i.e. the children from the relationship, whatever disappointments and trauma she's had in that relationship. And now they're coming in expecting somebody else to step in and be the man the last guy never was to them. And that's a lot to ask of the new guy. So, if you're seeing that it's not going anywhere, ladies, it shouldn't take 8, 10, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to come to that conclusion, right? I mean, if the guy has, and a lot of times you're living with the person, you guys are spending time together, there's things you've seen. If you're not seeing what you need to see in a relationship and no one's willing to take the step and really make it something more serious or allow that relationship to grow to the next level, sometimes you got to cut the strings and find somebody who is serious. That's the honest truth about that. Now, I know that's easier said than done because, you may like a person and they may be compatible with you. But, sometimes people got to know your boundaries and and if they really care about you, they'll do what needs to be done to ensure that they honor you in a way that you want to be honored. So that's my point of view. Hopefully you guys got something out of this conversation. But I definitely welcome your feedback. So if you're not already a subscribed member of the Inner Core Show, I definitely encourage you to like and subscribe and stay connected to the show, but also to weigh in. Let me know what you think about this particular subject matter. When is the right time to walk away from a situation if it's not serving you, serving your interests or your desired goals? Weigh in. Let me know what you think. All right. I'm Mr. B. Thank you very much for joining me. Definitely like and subscribe, stay connected. And until we speak again, God bless.